just comes in with a triple. He's just going to kill his own teammate, but it doesn't really matter right now. Jones just still going. He finds 3 as well. Might do the smoke and finds 2. That might just be a free use find. It's disgusting from Dragons. Lovely stuff from Sergio. Oh my god. Saki, TJ and Breaker, you'll go back to the respawn. Oh my god, Breaker finds 3. TJ just finds 3 massive kills for his team. Guys, welcome to week number 6 and the final week of the winter quarter of the Esports Gears Pro League live here from London in Europe. Of course, my name is Tony. I'm here with Fru. Last week, Fru, first and foremost, though, before we go anywhere, my man's going to Mexico.
Can't wait.
We love to see that. Some representation from Europe. Some would say they would like some more of that as well, but we'll not talk about that too much. We don't want to get too bitter about it yet, Fru. There's time for that in the rest of the show. But this week, not too much movement can happen. This is the final week. We just sort of want to see where the teams are at, how they're playing before Mexico. It should be an interesting show.
Yeah, definitely some good matches to come up. We're going to see Regal against Elevate. That was, the matchup that ended up knocking Elevate out back in San Diego. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. And then on the other side of things, Obey trying to claw that first map. They've got to get there sooner or later. Well,
Surely.
They don't have to, but they want to get there sooner or later, right?
Yeah, and again, just to reference what could possibly happen, we're talking about Rated R and Regal. It comes down to having to be whitewashers across the board for Regal Reserve and for Obey for Regal to possibly take over Rated R. So, if it gets there, we'll talk about it. But to show you guys the standings, of course, to let you know how that could potentially... look, round difference between Regal and Rated R will come into play as well as points. So, it has to be a huge swing, an unlikely result anyway. So, we'll not talk about it unless we need to. I don't think we will have to, but realistically, this should be where everybody finishes for.
Yeah, should be. This should be the seeding going into Mexico for all of these teams. Elevate, you can't fault that. No losses at all. Nope. Fantastic round difference. This is exactly the position they want to be in. They just got to close it out now. Yeah,
the only one that can change, I said, is between Rated R and Regal Reserve. We don't expect it to, but we will warn you if it potentially could happen. As said, though, we need to see whitewashes for Rated R, for Obey Alliance and for Regal Reserve, which is going to be quite difficult considering they're both going up against number 1 and number 2 seed this week. Should be an interesting one, but as you said, Regal Reserve going up against Elevate, that is going to be our second game. That's going to be an interesting one after their matchup in San Diego. But first and foremost, we do have Obey Alliance going up against Rated R. However, let's take a visit to last week and see who performed well. Now, it's no surprise. I'm looking at the preview screen to see how things worked out. Quite a lot of Elevate going on there, of course, but Zorkos from Regal Reserve, the top KDA. Somebody said Zorkos should be the MVP of last week. Someone said, I think it was you. I just thought, Elevate locked in that number 1 spot. It was an important decision. Regal Reserve being up and down. I like the reward consistency through.
Yeah, I think if Zorkos can repeat that performance again this week, he might get it, depending on if you want him to have it or not.
See how I feel.
Elevate, they did do very well last week. They did lock in that first place, and honestly, no surprise to see both Phelpsy, Hydrone, Crazed all up there in the score per map and highest eliminations per map. On the other side, though, Rated R had a good week as well. You see there, no surprise, Crimson's up in the objective score, but at the top there, Marsh with a 14.0, very, very strong objective score per map. It's pretty much all to play for. The only team you don't see on here is Obey. And honestly, they need to be up here if they want to win a map. So
yeah, they need to do something right, don't they? Because right now, like we talked about, and we'll hop on about Obey a little bit more, but we've talked about they're pushing teams at a point. They didn't really last week, but they are pushing teams at a point that gets that round number 9, and they just seem to crumble a little bit.
That's it.
Hopefully this, I don't want to say it's potentially composure, but is it one of these things? They get these last final rounds and their minds just, it seems as if they got the tools to do it, but sometimes the execution's not quite there.
When you get to that round 9, it's almost a coin flip between two teams, right? The weapons that are on the map, they're out there. That's all you're going to be able to play with. Usually by that point, you've got an idea of how your opposition is kind of, breaking down the map, trying to play for certain weapons. And the only thing you can really do in that situation, in that round 9, is try and think of something on the fly. Okay, this is how the map's laid out. Let's move on to something else. Let's try this. But both teams are trying to do that, right? So if your strat ends up being worse than the others, that's the coin flip there, right? You kind of just got to risk it all. And unlucky for Obey, they have actually come out on the worst side of that 3 times now.
Yeah, it's been really, really tough for them, of course. And, they're sitting down at the bottom. They were a team... They did have to go through the qualification process, which, it looks like they're going to have to go through it again there. It's going to be quite difficult for them to find themselves in a better position. Based on what we see in the Pro League, I don't know if I expect them to do much better in Mexico. I know it's a completely different environment. it's completely different. We're not talking about online, which has its factors.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about LAN. They have experience, of course. J Ridge and Ashens are two guys they brought in. Those guys have the experience as well. I just don't know if it's enough, though. I don't know if it's enough.
Not right now. I think they need a bit more time to practice, to gel. Obviously, slightly new roster in this in this quarter as well. So there is that. And honestly, I don't think they did perform horrendously. I just don't think they've had the luck on their side this time around. They've lost some tough matchups. They've gone very, very close against some top teams in Elevate and Rated R to a degree last quarter. So it is all to play for in Mexico for Obey. But a top 16 placement would be something that'll be a good placement for them at this point they're in.
Yeah, it's not looking great for them. On the other side of things, though, Rated R were a question mark when we came into this season. They had a good start in the first. Now we get into the winter quarter. We're not too sure. They make a couple of changes, and wow, they have looked a different beast. They look like they could challenge some of the very top teams, and I'm very, very interested in seeing this team going into Mexico.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of these players are players that only improve when you get to that LAN environment. Marsh, Dragons, they've all got this pedigree to them where that LAN environment just makes them step up their game, right? Dragon specifically, he's a monster on LAN, so I only expect this team to actually get better when they get to Mexico. They're going to have some real tough opposition out there.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be something they've got to be careful of, is not to underestimate their opponents.
100%.
Just because they've been, going toe-to-toe with Elevate here doesn't mean that reciprocity and the rest of the North American talent out there and also the LATAM talent are slouches by any means. They're going to have a tough time, but they are a team that can do it if they're on form.
100%, and we've seen when they are banging, they can bang with the best, and it's that slaying ability that they have that just puts a lot of pressure on teams. We see how quick they are. They're going to have to bring that same force. Like, we've seen weeks where they haven't brought it, namely the first time that they played Elevate this season, formerly Eve's Finest. They got smoked, and if they bring that level of Rated R, then it ain't gonna look great. But if they bring the level that we've seen in the second matchup, or when they play the other teams where they just tend to steamroll through rounds, that first round is nearly always theirs because they just seem to win those first initials every single time. If they can bring that level on a consistent amount of time across the whole event, they've got a good chance of a decent placement, I think. I mean, I'm not going to say top 4 or anything, but I think, in and around top 8, I think they could definitely make that far.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The Swiss bracket, I think, is actually going to help them out as well, because they're not just stuck in a pool with some really top team, right? Depending on how they play in that first map, will determine kind of their route through into that into the single elimination bracket. And honestly, the Swiss bracket as a whole is actually pretty good for teams like Rated R, because they might get that easy middle group run. We saw Regal get it last time. This time around, if it's Rated R, I think they can go even further. So, yeah, they've got a possibility, that's for sure.
Well, last time that Obey and Alliance Rated R played against each other, this is how it went down in week number 1. Obey Alliance win 2-0. Well, that's not right. But at the same time, I think it's flipped. It must be flipped.
Yeah.
It was the other way around. It was a 5-1 district for Rated R and a 5-3 Icebound for Rated R, of course. Now, I'm looking towards the stats. I'm presuming they are indeed correct as well. 2.74 for Marsh. That was the first time we've seen him. I think I actually give him the MVP for the first week because he was that good. So realistically, if we see that sort of performance from him again, then no surprises there. But come down to a close game in Icebound. Do you think Obey have got it in the tank, or do you feel as if the steam is run out? Because I think in the first couple of weeks, I looked at them and I was like, right, okay, well, they're losing close games. The fire's still going to be there. Switch up around here and then, you're suddenly in a different position. But now that they're pretty much guaranteed last, do you think this is maybe an opportunity for them to try some different maps on a competitive schedule, or competitive game, I should say? That's where I'm at with them. I would like to see them say, right, we don't usually play this map, let's try and expand our map pool against a good team. Yes, okay, you've got scrims, but at a certain point, scrims are just scrims. This is a competitive game. Maybe this is the time to try something.
It's possible. You can look at it from that angle. The other thing that I would kind of look at as well, if I'm Obey, yes, we've lost the map, but honestly, we've not played many maps. We've played a lot of Bunker, we've played a little bit of Vascar and a little bit of Training Grounds. If you stick to those maps, North American teams, Latin teams, then don't have the VOD of how you play the other maps. So there are swings and roundabouts here. You can either go for let's go and practice, but at this point, we're pretty close to the event now. How much more practice is going to be helpful?
Don't want to give them too much.
Or do we give them, some evidence of how we play the other maps and give, some research material to other teams? It's a difficult balance. For me, just looking at the stats, I fully expect District to go. If not, then it's probably a practice thing, because Rated R are fantastic on District right now. They're 10 rounds to 1 on that map.
Very good.
91% win rate, and they just look fantastic on that map. So if that goes through, I'm not quite. That's what the spreadsheet said.
It's 91. I was just.
Is that right?
10, 1, 11. Yeah.
Something about that.
About right. It will be right. Yeah.
I hope so.
All right, then continue.
We're going to say it's right. Yeah, if they do go to and allow District to go through, I expect that to be Obey just trying to get some practice on that map against a very good team on it.
Well, I do actually believe we have the picks and bans, so let's see, was your theory correct here, Fro? Nope.
District got banned in the end.
It's gone. Well, yeah.
Exhibit is pretty much a staple ban for Obey.
Yep.
I think they've banned it 5. Well, this will be the 6th time they've banned that out. So
Asylum.
yeah, I'm not too surprised to see Exhibit banned. Asylum is a pick that they've gone through. They've had a couple of good games on it, so not too surprised. Rated R on Training Grounds,
isn't it? It's one of those that you can play it how you want it. Really,
yeah. Like there's a lot of ways to play it. You can really dictate where the fight is as well, with the weapons either on the bridge or the railway side. Training Grounds on the other side from Rated R, not surprised. Yep, that's pretty standard. Bunker ban from Rated R, that makes sense because Obey, that's their most played map right now. District ban from Obey, as I said, makes sense given how well Rated R are playing on it.
My only surprise is that Rated R got rid of Icebound.
Obey, they've had a couple of decent games on Icebound.
Yeah, a couple of alright games. I think Rated R are pretty decent at it as well, but I think it's one of those where you sort of say, well, what do we think they're going to pick? Could it have been Icebound? Maybe we just don't want them on their pick sort of thing. So, there's only so much you can read into these. At times I read into them and maybe a little bit too much, but
there's also the TJ factor, right? In the full quarter, TJ in the trading post was fantastic. He was really, really good. And actually, when Obey have had chance to go to Icebound, he's still looked very, very good. But on other maps, not so much. So maybe it's just a bit of that, just a bit of mind games.
Yeah, I think, he hasn't looked as prominent this season as he was last. I don't know if that's the introduction of the two other players that have come in and maybe they've picked up potentially some of the slack that he was picking up in the previous team, although, albeit, they probably did better in the previous quarter than they did in this one. However, he hasn't been there as much. We haven't seen these flashy players, and I want to say, my mind is cast back to our number one player from last season, which was, it wasn't inside trading post specifically, but it was on one of the sides. I think it was towards. It
was in the fish market.
That's the one. When he was in and around there, and he picked up 3 kills, that basically kept his team in the game for them then to go on and win it. Can't remember exactly who it was against, but those sort of moments, we haven't seen many of them. We've seen glimmers, but that's it. We haven't seen the fully fledged TJ that we've seen last season, and it's hurt their results, it has to be said. But let's have a look at our head-to-head, who we do think are going to be influential in this one. Ashens against Slazen. Fru, why'd you pick this?
Ashens has just been the best performer, quite honestly, on Obey throughout the whole of the winter quarter. He's come in, had a very, very strong quarter, in my opinion. He's up there in most of the kind of categories with the likes of Elevate and Rated R. And if they shut Ashens down, this is pretty much game over. I think Rated R walk this one. Slazen I've highlighted because, honestly, he had a good week last week. Not the most impressive of scorelines, overall, but quite honestly, he's consistent. He's played well, and he's a player that kind of goes a bit under the radar. We like to rave about Dragons. We like to rave about Marsh because they're quite outspoken, vocal players, both on Twitter, also in-game as well, where Slazen does his job, occasionally has a flashy go, but in my eyes, we should keep an eye on him a little bit more because he's been doing some good work for Rated R.
He's consistent, isn't he? I would put him towards, like last week, we talked about Phelpsy. Just consistently doing all right, just at the bottom. Never really having a bad game. I think that's what Slazen seems to be. He's always sort of in and around. He's not setting the world on fire at times, although Phelpsy, don't get me wrong, phenomenal player, and I'm sure in any other team he would look like the best player on the team. But at the same time, he's just sort of that guy that's just putting up the numbers, not doing anything crazy. Slazen is like that, I feel, for Rated R. And call me out if I'm wrong on that, but I just feel as if he's just consistently doing all right, and that's good enough.
I think in this quarter you're correct. I think Phelpsy and Slazen have had similar quarters. They've just had consistent quarters, and they're very, very good players. They're at the top of these pro leagues for a reason.
Phelpsy's gonna be watching this back. I'm gonna get some hell on Twitter on that. Slazen, what?
Prove us wrong.
Oh, foolish from me if he does come at me. But here we go. Rated R against Obey Alliance. The last time we will see them in the winter quarter before we do get over to Mexico. Interested to see how this one goes. Honestly, if I was to predict it, I'm thinking a Rated R whitewash. A most likely scenario here. They've looked so good over the past 5 weeks, and I don't expect that to change here. Playing Asylum for the second time here, we've seen Obey not had a chance to play it whatsoever, so maybe for Rated R, this is a case of for them playing
a bit of a training opportunity,
trying something different. So interested to see which way this one goes. Rated R, though, can they continue what they've been doing and solidify that second place? If they are going to drop in the third, Obey Alliance need to turn up for Regal Reserve, in all honesty, and need to turn up for themselves. Try and get yourself some confidence going into Mexico, and it would mean a lot to them to try and get a win here.
Definitely so. We'll jump on board with Obey as this opening fight starts off. We see the first kill go down on Strikers, actually. And this is actually pretty good opener from Obey. They prioritized that mid lane, got someone in there very, very early, and they've managed to force a few kills off the bat. And this could be a very quick triple cap if they're not careful. It looks like there's a fight going on over here. Marsh has managed to get a kill, but Saki's going to shut him down.
Yep, not going to be able to do anything there. Marsh does get dropped, but this is an important fight. That J Rage wins, and that's going to be OB Alliance walking through Rated R round number 1, but we may still have some time. Yeah, Dragons and Coda trying to get in. Slayers and just trying to linger around, and usually it's a team like Rated R who come flying out the gates, but it's been J Rage from OB trying to get it done. Finds a second as well. There goes Dragons, give him the third as well. Saki's there to clean up, and if you're Rated R, you may be just wasting lives at this point. The domination will come through. What a round from J Rage, what a round from OB Alliance. They kick off well, 1-0.
Yep, that's perfectly played. Honestly, that's how you want to play Asylum in general. If you get control of that mid, you want to loop round, and you can either force the fight up on top bridge, or, as you saw, you can go for that cap there, that decap on the opposing team's A-Hill, and just try and lock in the domination there. Flashbangs are going to be placed down. Let's have a look to see what Marsh places in return. He is hovering the middle, but I'm expecting something similar over the other side, perhaps on the bottom side. Nope, they're going to mirror completely this time around, so flashbangs for both teams. Just keeping it kind of simple. I think no need to go crazy just yet, right? Just keep things pretty low-key until we go through to this, maybe the third round or so. As you said, J Rage there, 6-0. Fantastic start, and it was all through this push in the middle. Going for it again.
Start. Really nice start from him, but can he continue it? That's the thing. OB Alliance, I said it, you know, on occasion have looked pretty decent, but it's just been closing these games out. But another good start to the round. That's 2 men down from Rated R now. I have to be careful. 1 round down is not too big of a deal. But when it's first to 5, you start losing this second pretty quickly. You start leaking lives early on as well. It's never a good position to be in. If you're Rated R, you need to take this back pretty quickly without too much sacrifice. You can see Precarious in their push. Strikers goes down. Here come the rest of the team as well. Are they going to continue to fight for this one? Dragons is first one in. He will find Saki. Stays alive. J Rage eventually takes him down. Marsh, maybe the next lamb to the slaughter as he tries to get away. Will find one behind, but continuously this kill feed is just lighting up red. OB Alliance look like they're going to take this round, and plenty of lives away from Rated R as well. Another good round out of OB.
Fantastic. They're just winning this opener very, very quickly. Honestly, this time around, Rated R, they put another person over to that mid side to try and Lancer down J Rage as he hopped through mid, but they just didn't get enough bullets on him to shut him down. Opens up the full route. You saw Dragons push up, got taken down as well due to the trailing man from Obey. And honestly, just a very, very similar round just on the opposite side of the map. Fantastic play by Obey. This is exactly what we want to see from them about 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But honestly, they're doing it right.
Hey. If you're going to peak, do it before Mexico.
That's it, right? They're on that upward slope.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, we see that we don't expect much from them, and I think that's absolutely fair. But if they go and have a cracking event, they lift themselves off the bottom potentially, and suddenly you find yourself in a position where you're not having to play in that qualifier to retain your status as a pro team, and then the stress is away, and suddenly
that's exactly what we saw last quarter. Rated R went into that major as bottom seed, right? And their better placement than Obey ended up being the reason that they didn't have to fight that qualification tournament. So we've seen it happen.
Yep. This time around, though, Rated R have started things off maybe a little bit slower, maybe not as keen to getting these big engagements between themselves and Obey, because, I mean, they've come off worse 2 times in a row. However, it will be Obey with a hold of B because of this maybe passive play from Rated R, which is something we're not used to seeing, but we know that their teamwork is solid when it needs to be. We know that they can coordinate some good pushes, but here we go. This is potential domination being lined up somehow. OB Alliance caught between a train and a couple of Lancers here as the push towards B comes through. There's going to be the kills going in the favor of Rated R, though. That's more like it. That's more like what we're used to seeing. It's only really J Rage able to do anything about this, and he may just be prolonging the inevitable. Marsh takes him down. Where's the respawn? Not quite there. That's a round from Rated R, which, as said, a bit more like it from them.
Definitely so. The loop round at the back there, just to come and help Lancer down for the folk fighting at the railway, was fantastic. And honestly, Obey, they look like they're in a good spot, but they lost that fight up by bridge.
Yep.
It opens up a fantastic flank route for Rated R.
Seemed to panic a little bit.
Yep, and the train kind of came in at the wrong time for them because they got trapped in there. They being trapped by that train gave Rated R the chance to rotate around and get behind them. It gave them the time to do that. And little things like that, you know, they cost rounds, and here we see Rated R getting a round off the back of that. 2-1 now the score. Obey still leading. Jump on board with TJ. We mentioned him in the pre-game. Perhaps not having the best quarter, but he is running that first spawn down here.
I'm intrigued. Have a look. 1.53 overall. 8.9 objective, average score 1.972,000. I mean, a 1.53 is not awful, but it's not fantastic either. And he's a guy that was putting up like 2.6s last season, and he hasn't been doing it so far. His team are up right now, though. Rated R seem to be having the better of this round number 4, though. I say that Saki is going to find one. Nearly found a second until he falls to Dragons, but this fight is being pulled backwards and forwards between these two teams. Who's going to come out on top? Rated R make the push. Dragons maybe a little bit overzealous there. As OB Alliance now going to be able to get a hold of B.
Yep, lovely step up there by Ashens. Noticed that the flashbang was about to come out, so just took the step forward.
Oh,
great little 2v1 there as well from Obey as they find Slazin just napping at the back. Couldn't get out again. Once again, the train coming in, playing a big part in this map. Let's rotate round up to Marsh. Let's see what he's up to.
And the train's such an important thing to keep a monitor of because it comes in at the same time. You know, it's a certain amount of time after the round starts, so you should have somebody on your team counting, saying train coming in 10 or something like that. And yes, okay, maybe sometimes it doesn't have much influence on what's going on, specifically, you know, when we do move over towards the second half. But it's something worth keeping an eye on if you are playing this game. Have your team coordinated, but oh my word, that shock's going to come in. It will distort this push from Rated R, but it continues. Dragons will find one at a J Rage. Strikers catches Breaker napping. Can he find TJ here as well? Stuck in the middle. And it is going to be Slazin to come up and clean up. Only B remains for OB Alliance, as the majority of them are dead.
Look what Dragons is up to. Looks like he's going to go for the B. I think Ashens trying to pretend he's not there, really. Rated R, no, he is. 10-3 now. Dragons 10-5. Sorry, now Dragons.
Just prolonged it so the rest of his team can then push over towards A.
That's what you want.
Yep. Catch themselves in this round. Still in the lead as well. If you're Rated R, though, you're the ones with the win condition here. It's a big pish.
It's a big pish.
It's a big pish. We're not turning Scottish, honestly. It's a big push from OB Alliance up top ridge. If they come out on top of this one, they will be able to get a hold of C pretty handily, and it just seems as if they are really forcing their will on Rated R here if they can, but right now they are running into Nashers that are well prepped. Dragons code up, clean it up. Ashens running for the hills. This should be a Rated R round. It's looking like they are going to be able to make this push over towards A. They didn't lose anything at C, just got decap, but this is pretty comfortable for them now. I'd imagine they'll try and get out of here though through, because OB are going to push in numbers.
Yep, and they've got enough lives to play with at the moment. You see TJ.
Oh, good lord.
Going to be down to 0, obviously, the last round of the half. So great shot coming in, actually. Breaker utilising that very, very well. You just got to hope that Ashens can get the toe in and try and stop that decap. He does indeed. Gets the double kill. Gets taken out by Marsh now. But again, Obey off spawn once more. They'll try and take out Dragons. They do. They take out Marsh. Cog team are going to win in about 12 seconds.
Yep, needs to be perfect here from OB Alliance to keep that 2-round cushion. Not on A.
That's a fantastic Lancer fire there from Rated R.
I mean, they've just cut them to shreds, haven't they, as they make the push over towards C. And I tell you what, they did get hold of B there as well, so if they were able to push in uncontested over towards C, then suddenly that round is up for discussion. However, 3 minutes and 17 seconds is what it took for Rated R to get their second round on the board. 2-2 now. Good game in our hands here for him, potentially.
Yes, yeah, it looks like it so far. I mean, scoreboard-wise, pretty even across the board as well.
Can we talk about Slazin's ping? Is he living on the server?
We've seen
single digits.
We've seen some changes to the ping recently. Actually, I'm on the same thing at the moment.
Blessed, yeah. Absolutely blessed.
Something's happened. Whether it's servers or how it's being reported, I don't know. But it's everyone's just lowered across the board. I'm saying
nothing.
I like being on single digit pings. That's what I say.
Pains and Co, though, as we do go into the half, trying to push over towards the top east side. The downs, though, coming in for Rated R. Maybe it was a slow start. The late Incend coming over, taking down TJ. Shot grenade was there as well, though, which has slowed down this ascension from Rated R. It seems to looking to try and get this one done and dusted fairly quickly. Breaker, the anchor at the back with the Incend is going to maybe just zone with that. Would like to see him maybe pick up a kill, but now he's going to have to back up for the rest of his team here. The push from Rated R coming in towards F here. OB Alliance trying to defend.
Yeah, they're having to do everything. Still fighting on the home hill. Breaker. We're watching him from his perspective as he's doing everything he can, but honestly, he needs his team with him. His team are off spawn now, so the push can come through, but Breaker's in a real bad spot here. Marsh has managed to find his way over into the office over to the right-hand side. TJ's going to push up on that. Let's jump on board. Let's see what's happening. Slazin. He's going to be the one pushing out.
The thing is, they can just pin them in here.
Oh, that's lovely.
Just button them up as they're trying to get out. Pains is going to be there to help out his teammate. Slazer now up. Here comes the push. It's a 4v2 momentarily over towards F-Mate. That a 4v1. J-Rage had a good start to the game, but I don't think it's going to be good enough. But I tell you what, Breaker has slipped the proverbial net. He's got in towards E, but maybe has he just prolonged the inevitable here? It seems so. E is going to go down. TJ, can he do anything about F? Maybe just linger around. OB Alliance are hanging on by the skin of their teeth yet. They are going to eliminate, though, eventually. Rated R, that's 3 rounds in a row. 32 now.
OB do the right thing there. They didn't respawn back in at the end, and I think that's wise. They were all over them. Were rated R.
I think if Breaker maybe gets a couple of kills over towards E, then you question it. But I think that was probably the sensible decision. Got a good few more rounds, and you don't want to be teetering on the edge with those respawns, do you? We've seen that happen a couple of times, specifically mostly for Regal Reserve.
Especially in this game. I mean, it seems to be pretty close so far, right? Obviously rated getting 3 in a row, but
yes,
rounds.
Do it.
Hovering.
Yes.
Oh.
We love a mid-placement.
Well, it's a bit of a different one, isn't it? It's a bit of a cop-out, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you, but either way, we're going away from the norm here. They have typically been mirroring each other, but sacrificing a shot grenade every 60 seconds or throwing down a frag grenade in the middle of a fight over, which you subsequently go for, you subsequently look like you're going to get a hold of, actually, because Obave won most of the fights in the middle. Dragons is here to try and help out, but that is not how you help. That is not how you help with Dragons. You do not incend yourself. That's not how you do it. That doesn't help.
That doesn't help at all. I don't even know. I don't know what he's done there. But
has he just misjudged? Has he got short? Has he got long arms?
Yeah.
Is he just connected with
because he was getting shot by because he was getting shot by Obey. That was the better one. Like it. He's trying to rush through it, right? Like he just tried to ping it over the top. Great grenades coming in there. But he just mistimed it basically and hit the cover instead.
That's a rough one.
But
Dragons, for all that, you have been fantastic.
It has
most
opened
of the
up
Pro League. That is what was it? The wooden spoon you talked about last week?
Yep,
that's fully in his hands right now. He is making cakes with that wooden spoon. That's one of the worst we've seen. But we'll allow him because he's been fantastic all season. But here we go. Obey Alliance off the back of those frag grenades. Now found themselves in a position to try and close this round out pretty sharpish. Or do they just, they choose to back on down. They don't want to fight that rated R team fight, which is so often going in their favour.
Well, they're going to be careful because they did have someone, Asaki, coming off spawn. And there was
look at the score as well. You know, you lose that fight, there's definitely potential for rated R to come back into it. But a couple of trades of downs coming through here as the push comes through. That is a fantastic or a really bad shot grenade from one of the teams. Can't quite tell which direction it seemed to come from. I think it came in rated R. And then that comes back to the fact that they used that 60-second. They dropped down that timer for their shot grenade on their side of things. So that's helped them out there. It's helped them get a hold of it.
Yep, and you can see the difference in that. Even now, there's only about 10 seconds before the next one comes up for rated R, so 10 seconds difference, sorry.
Well, they may need it to actually break back once again as OB Alliance have forced their way through, but I think rated R are of the opinion that, yes, okay, we got the shot grenade up soon, we can probably fight back for this one. Here goes Slazen, he's already dead though. J-Rage having a good game here, and he's a player that we highlighted a couple of weeks ago to say we need to see more from. We've definitely seen it so far, maybe, as said, peaking at the right time. Ashens and Kola doing really good work. J-Rage and Ashens combine it fantastically here up top E. Now if your Pins and your Dragons, you're in a tough spot. You're already in the respawn queue. Do Obey Alliance look to impose themselves over towards F? Not quite. They will continue just to hold fast.
Yep. Breaker's just going to back off a little bit as well, just to make sure he's not too far up the map. Honestly, he needs to be able to rotate round to this E-Hill fight pretty quick. Another good shot grenade. Look at that. That's exactly how you want the shot grenade to be placed. But the problem is, you ain't going to need that. You're going to need this one.
Yep, you're going to need D.
So let's have a look on Striker's point of view. Let's see what happens. Good incend there by Breaker.
Breaker may have just slowed down the push here, but
perfect.
The final piece of the puzzle was F. Not enough time here. Swarm and Obey will win 3. And that's going to make it 3-3 here. I honestly thought Rated R may actually just run through them here. But right now, Obey Alliance are making it worthwhile. I will say I think that Dragon's killing himself in the middle with that incend is maybe something to do with it. If he's got that, he makes the push over towards the mid, gets the kill with the incend. Suddenly you have the frag grenade. Suddenly you don't get a double kill coming through for Obey up top middle. It was like the butterfly effect, unfortunately for Dragons. Do one thing and it's led to so many others.
Yep.
And that one thing was killing yourself with an incend grenade.
Let's have a look what goes down. Maybe another half. Yep. So the incendiary's now back up twice as fast. Every 60 seconds. And that's a lot of grenades on the map now. Frag grenades every 120. Incends and shocks every 60. We're going to see a lot of things thrown about. J-Rage, he's going to be on this mid. Going to get met by Strikers this time, actually. Good flash grenade coming out, just opening that up. He's going to be met by Pains, and J-Rage should fall here. Should be some free grenades for Rated R. TJ, he's in a bad spot now. He's going to get taken out as well, and this is a good round so far from Rated R. They should be able to get this airfield pretty much uncontested. I mean, if you're Rated R, maybe you would have moved in a bit quicker there. You could have got that decap, but I think they're more concerned about what's going on here now at top hill.
You're now in control of Obey Alliance's side of things. They will then rotate back around, get back hold of their home hill. The right thing done here. Come the frags. It's going to be one kill for Breaker. Onto Breaker, I should say. Strikers does find that. Paints and Kono now can set up. They will get a hold of E. It's not bad from Rated R here. Good rotations round and doing everything right so far.
It was a good frag grenade as well.
Yep.
Very well placed.
It meant that dispersed, didn't it? Could have got a couple if they didn't make a quick movement.
And now those second grenades coming back up. You see now, Incendiary's been picked, shot grenades been picked up.
And this is where the next fight comes in. Obey Alliance make the push. There's the shock as well. Paints maybe would be in better place just staying where he was, but he will find J-Rage irrelevant. Dragons is going to get down, so Paints is going to have to help his teammate up. Maybe some miscommunication as Strikers is flying on through. But ultimately they need to make the push. Saki there though, trying to do his best. Is going to go down. Slazen on the other side of the map finds Breaker with an incend as well. Ashen's now in a pretty difficult position. Needs to do something over towards E. Is the domination going to come through? Yes, it is. And unfortunately for him, the rest of his team go down. Rated R, 1 round away.
Very well played there. I like the patience from Rated R. They managed to get a couple of kills. They knew they had the time just to wait for the shot grenades to dissipate before they got that revive. And in the end, they timed it well. Nice rotation round. Honestly, if you Obey now, gotta be thinking of something. These grenades were, were their placement, right? They went down in their hands, and it hasn't really been too fruitful for them. Locks coming out, that's no surprise. You usually see that at this point in the game. The shot grenade is just so strong up on top bridge. But Rated R were using them better, in my opinion. So maybe that's advantage Obey in this opening in this closing round. Sorry. Let's have a look.
Well, fight towards these frag grenades is going to be a little bit highly contested, you feel. And this is just due to those shocks not being available now. But look at the kills coming in Rated R's favor. They don't have anything quite yet. But we will get onto the players in a second. We have an issue. We're sorted. We're sorted.
I don't know what was going on there. Just wouldn't go around to the players.
Should we blame that?
No, you can blame me on that one. That was definitely on me. But I think it was a pretty boring opening fight anyway, so don't worry about it.
Rated R just won all the gunfights fairly easily, honestly. It wasn't that good. Yeah, Rated R, though, in control. They win those gunfights in the middle. They have a hold of the frags. They have a hold of E and F. Here comes the flash, though, for Obey to try and get back in. Expect some more utility flying over in that direction in a second. There comes the flash, and here comes the push, and Incend coming out. Not too sure which side that actually came from, that. Rated R, though, setting back up to try and get a hold of it once again. Dragons is going to find two. This is the flank coming in from Breaker. Oh, my word. Dragons and Pains going down, but it might not be enough. Rated R will seal the deal at 8. And a push towards D is inevitable. Peekaboo. TJ finds Strikers. He catches him slipping, and he will just slow down that push.
Yep. That was a great little bit of positioning there. Great double kill by Breaker as well. Made all that possible. If he hasn't got that double kill, that's probably round over and Rated R winning the map. So, good job by Obey and Breaker specifically there. Now, TJ defending. Slazen's pushing up. J-Rage is going to fall here. Bit of a windy pistol from TJ as he hits mostly the meat shield, but that's not going to help things there as the bag and tag comes in. That's something we never really see in competitive gears. That's picking up the meat shield and just giving it a boot with a grenade tag to it. Problem is, it doesn't go quite far enough, so you sometimes stun yourself. But it can be pretty cool if you've got a grenade out or something like that.
Oh, Pentacle, look at this Lancer fire coming in from Rated R up top. TJ is going to find one, but he has to make the push. Has he got any help? J-Rage is actually going to drop Pains there. He will clean that up for him, TJ. Here comes the push once again. Some good shots into Marsh, but he is going to get dropped by the Lancer fire. Here comes Dragons. He will clean up. And it's just it's a fight between J-Rage and Dragons to try and win this one, but it is actually going to be Obey Alliance who seem to be coming out on top. The shots coming in from middle map. Just about slowing things down here. Slazen. Probably the longest team fight we've seen this season. Backwards and forwards we go. But in the end, it is Obey that actually lock it down
It has been a cost of their lives, though. That's the one thing you've got to be careful of here now if you're Obey. J-Rage and TJ, if they die once more, they're not going to come back in.
Slayers and Pains in the same...
That's true. That's very true.
Game.
And now Dragon's making this push-up. He has got lives to play with. He's found J-Rage as well, so if he gets that kill, that's J-Rage out. Saki's going to push up to try and help things out here. Incend comes flying over. Now you've got to be careful if you're Obey, because Strikers has those frag grenades in hand. They're going to come up very, very shortly. It sounds like one went off. No kill. Dragon's trying to get the break. Isn't able to just yet. The fire's there.
10 seconds.
Oh, that's a brilliant grenade.
And there it is. That might be the one that does it. Rated R now. We'll get a hold of E. It's going to be a COG team win condition as well. It might be a domination coming through if Ashens doesn't do something about it. He is dropped. And Rated R, quite like Elevate, seem to put themselves in a bad situation. Then they flick a switch. That's 5-3. In a close game, it has to be said, between these two. Obey Alliance are here to play. But Alliance is a Rated R's playground, clearly. 5-3. Really, really good comeback from them. 2-0 down at 1 point, but in the end, they get it done.
And it is all about the utilization there of those grenades. The shot grenades, the incendiaries, the frag grenades at the end. They were in Rated R's pocket. They had it.
I want to say that Rated R had to hold those grenades at the end. Was there somebody from Obey like there to try and fight against it? Seems the Strikers has picked that up pretty much uncontested, and then suddenly they're on spun on its head. Really good play by Rated R, but hindsight is a wonderful thing, I'm sure, for Obey. Maybe they would have loved to send somebody over towards there. They had a lot of pressure up top, and that was ultimately what was winning in the minute, but then one good grenade comes through, and suddenly your dreams are shattered, and that is it. You're 1-0 down.
Yeah, perhaps even just a little bit too passive as well on that defense. They had the numbers up there. It was pretty even, 3v3, and you know Strikers is going to pick up that grenade. You know if you sit there, those grenades are going to find their way to your half of that bridge, so perhaps a bit more of an aggressive push there would have been better found at the end, because they would have maybe won that fight, got hold of it, not get blown up, and make your way over to the opposite home hill. You potentially could have done a bit better there, but honestly, it was actually not bad from Obey.
No, not too bad.
We're give him a bit of stick about it, but
I think it was
not bad.
It wasn't too bad, but I feel as if they had a couple of opportunities to maybe do a little bit more on there. They surprised me with how they played, though. They played very, very well, and I just would love to see that maybe come in.
Just the closing?
Yeah, just come in into developing something, maybe even a map win there for them. They were close enough, but again, it's that closing out. When they get to the Lantern rounds, this is where they just seem to struggle sometimes, and unfortunately, in that case, that came true once again. But Training Grounds coming up now. Yeah. This would be Rated R's pick.
You've got to err on the side of Rated R, right?
100%,
Surely.
100%. I think they've looked really good all season outside their 2 games against Elevate. This should be that game.
Should be. Think. You would think. I mean, for them to pick it over District as well.
Yeah.
Knowing that.
Because District was... Oh, it would have been up at this time, wasn't it?
District was up at this time. Last time they played Obey on it, they went 5-1.
Yeah.
And honestly, they've looked very good on it all season, have Rated R. So yeah, very surprising that we didn't see District, but to know that they've picked Training Grounds over the top of it, that means something. That means they're very confident at this map. They like playing this map. And if you're Obey, you're going into Rated R's comfort pick. That's a difficult situation to be in.
It's a really tough situation to be in. We'll see Vazgar if we do indeed need a third map. But Obey Alliance, this is your final time to win a map in the Pro League. It's not going to be a good feeling going over to Mexico knowing that you haven't been able to win a map. And, they've been, how many times have we said it? How close they've been on occasion to try and do it. It's not like they're completely out of touch. It's just they're a couple of rounds away from being with Regal Reserve. That's all it is.
Literally.
And I think it's that small difference between these teams that could make Obey Alliance maybe slept on a little bit from some people. I said I'm not going to say they're going to win the event, but at the same time, they'll come up against some opposition who say, well, these lot never even won a map over in the EU Pro League. Surely we should be able to beat them. But realistically, there has been some very close games, and if they just somehow find that little bit extra that they have been lacking, then suddenly they're in the question to have an alright finish. So I think, for me, just try and take some confidence. Try and take some confidence to know that you can do it if you're Obey Alliance. We love all the guys on that team as well. There's a lot of them been around for a very long time. And I would just love to see them do well. But we need to see that little bit of magic that has been lacking so far this season.
That is it. I mean, we've talked about, Obey and how they've not really performed here, but quite honestly, every time these players go through to, a major, whether it's in America or LATAM, they pretty much always make it to that top 20, top 16 placement bracket. If they're in the open bracket, they always walk through it. Always. So their issue is not really about whether or not they'll get slept on by the lower teams. It's whether they can actually pick a few of these maps off the top teams, right? A map here or there is going to help them out no end when it comes to Mexico. And honestly, they have the ability, you know, we've mentioned it, they have the talent on that roster to go through it and win series. It's just not coming into fruition for them here right now on the Pro League. And maybe that's because these teams have played against Obey so many times, so often. You know, the top scrims that these teams are going to be getting are against one another as well, minus a few American teams that will want to play on that ping difference. So there's a lot of practice between these two teams. American teams, Latin teams, they're not going to have the same practice against Obey and Rated R as well. So perhaps won't be as clued into how they do specifically play these maps.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little bit of an opening there for them as well.
I agree, but at the same time, I don't know if, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I don't feel as if Obey have a definitive play style.
Not right now.
I look at Rated R and I sort of think to myself, right, okay, they're going to come in fast, they're going to fly at you, they're going to be aggressive. If you are one of these teams who, you know, are trying to prepare, you look at that, you know that's what they do. You can maybe sit back a little bit, try and get your Lancer Fire down. That's how you could potentially beat Rated R. You watch how Elevate do it. They out-rotate them. They then outslay them if they need to because they have that talent. But if you don't, you can, you know, sit back with these Lancers. But Obey, they're not necessarily somebody you can look at and like go, right, I know exactly how to beat them because they don't really have a definitive style. That can hurt them as well because then they themselves, if they're researching other teams, they can't go, well, we'll just play how we usually play. Because for me, I don't look at them and think, right, okay, this is the staple of Obey. They don't have a staple. They're without staples. They're stapleless.
Yeah.
And I just don't know where I was going with that. But for me, it's a blessing and a curse. I don't know if maybe I'm reading too much into this. I'm going deep analysis.
If if I was to give them, you know, a definition, I'd say they were a very defensive team. They're a very passive team. And they don't particularly react. Like, you can see crafted plays. When you watch Rated R play, you can see, you know, Marsh hiding under the bridge under Asylum and waiting for that push to come in. You can see that crafted pincer movement. When you watch Elevate play, you can see them flashing for each other and, you know, making very specific directed plays. That's the thing I don't see too often from Obey that I think maybe they're missing. Is just a bit of jazz, you know, a bit of magic in their gameplay. And they play the basics so well that I don't think it's really come through just yet, but that's the difference right now between the top teams and Obey, in my opinion at least. When you have that, when you've got that ability just to make a play up on the fly, then then that's when you start taking rounds. That's when you start taking maps off people, because it is, you know, those little micro plays here and there that do win these fights, do win these maps for you.
Well, Obey, can they have that little bit of magic there? I was in danger. It sounded like I knew what I was talking about there. I was in danger of it.
I agree with you. Like,
it's crazy, isn't it?
I think it's something that has become very apparent across this Pro League, though. Is that
I know what I'm talking about?
Well, I think that, and also that Obey, they're missing just a little bit of something.
I don't know what show you've been watching. Anyway.
Something's rubbed off.
Yeah, oh God. It's not the second game yet. We can't start losing our minds yet.
It's true.
That usually happens about map number 2 and game number 2. Did you see the one I posted last of this week's?
Yeah.
Bloody mother well. God, I'm still absolutely furious you got me with that.
Well, yeah, it's easy, isn't it? Easy pickings.
Well, apparently so. I didn't realise I was gullible, but here we are. Rated R. On the aggressive, once again, as per usual. Water is wet. Rated R are sprinting at you. Looks like they're going to get a hold of B. TJ, though, is here with J-Rage, who needs to have another good map. Saki is going to take him down. I can probably forgive him for that. It was pretty close quarters, but J-Rage and Co aren't going to survive. They do lose B, only momentarily, and we have an exact tick over from both two teams, 43. Oh, maybe it's slightly towards Obey Alliance on the tick.
So slight.
But it will go towards Obey Alliance this time around as they do get hold of B. They are going to lose A. Struggling to figure out who's actually in the better position here. Looks like Obey do have top bridge control. That's Saki all alone. And I would like to see him maybe come back and help his team. J-Rage now needs to find this kill, if anything. Oh, that's some good shots by Strikers. It's going to back J-Rage down. Fight over towards A, though, is important. Bit of a weird round here.
Yeah, definitely so. Very weird round, actually. Slazing Rated R kind of keeping them stuck in their own spawn, really. Obey not in the best of positions, that's for sure.
Rated R did very well against Elevate on this map in the first couple of rounds, at least anyway. Their initials seem to be very, very solid, but Obey Alliance have hung on in there. Find themselves about 20 points behind. Some good shots there. Nice by J-Rage, who really has turned up this week so far. Played very, very well on map number 1. Can he continue it? Can we see a map number 3? I dare say it.
Might be a bit early to say that.
maybe.
But
It is 0-0.
It would be nice. Final week. Finally get to see that map 3.
We actually not seen.
We've not seen one all quarter. It's been 2-0s all the way through.
Good lord. I don't know what that shows.
I guess there's a very clear pecking order in the European side of things.
Yeah.
Or at least when it comes to on the day there is.
And there's a definitive gap between everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. OB Alliance, though, finally find themselves with win condition. It has been a case of out-rotating and I don't want to say outslaying, but there has been kills here and there that have had to go in the direction of one team to keep themselves in the round, and they found them every single time. Can one team elevate over the other, though? No pun intended. Shots coming in there. Saki and Kodo getting it done. This is OB Alliance starting the same way that they may have started the previous map. They did go on to lose that one, but right now they're looking to try and get round number 1 here. They do have the win condition in their favor once more. To push towards C. The respawns are long. Going to try and lock this one in. Marsh not really in a spot to do a great deal for his team here. He's going to probably try and help towards C, which is going to get broken. He's going to find the fight behind him on the Ashens as well, but Saki's won this over towards C. Is anybody within touch and distance for Rated R? It doesn't look like it. Marsh will go down. That will be an OB Alliance win in round number 1.
Very long round that was.
It was.
But credit to OB, actually. They got pinched in and they managed to fight their way out of that one. And against Rated R, that's not the easiest of tasks. And you can see J Rage, 11 kills in 1 round. That's a fantastic way to open the second map. On the other side of things, Marsh leading the way, only 3-3. So actually, OB very heavily outslaying, or at least out-eliminating.
J Rage, man. 11 eliminations.
Yeah, I know.
0 deaths. That's a good round.
That's a very good round. 9-1 from Saki as well. I mean,
hey.
This is
I
what
mean,
you
a
want.
lot of it, you know, I mean, obviously they didn't get 11 kills each, no, or 9 kills each. That would be impossible.
They were present for 11 deaths for the other team. Yeah.
A lot of engagements, I want to say.
Yep. Striker's already down to 2. That's no surprise.
Nope. We know
where you go?
continental Europe like an aggressive push. Don't get me wrong, Striker's been one of those guys.
They definitely do.
Look at Regal. They like to die. Anyway, Rated R. Starting off better. Ashens and TJ have been dropped, not quite cleaned up, but this is the fight over towards B. Rated R have invested quite a lot here. Not able to quite grab anything. OB Alliance do have maybe a little bit more real estate here, but maybe not the best positioning. I say that. J-Rage in behind is going to surprise him. Slazen's going to get taken down. Is he going to get cleaned up? TJ has to back up himself. J-Rage, you need to get aggressive. Save your teammate. Need to hit your shots, though. See you later, Slazen. This is J-Rage on a bit of a tear here. 13-0 out of him. He's helped his team possibly get a hold of B here, but Rated R. Back to party. He is going to go down. Dragons flying at them. Saki and J-Rage down to his sword. And suddenly it's Rated R getting control of B. Just like that through.
Just like that. I don't know where J-Rage came from, to be honest with you. Just popped out of the woodwork. And that was very good. Very good play from him. But in the end, you're right. Rated R, they do keep control of things. A nice double kill from Dragons coming in. And honestly, just nice play in general from Rated R. Not to panic too much when they were getting pressured from behind. They managed to find that revive on that back street as well.
Yeah, focused where they need to, didn't they? Instead of sending their resources in 2 different directions. But
That goes
continuing this on, though. Rated R looking for the C push. J-Rage needs a little bit more magic here once again. Can he find anything? Oh, I tell you what, he's going to find one. Is he going to find the second as well? Not quite. Does go down. C should be broken, but OB have tried to stay in it over towards B. They have decapped this one, so they will slow down this potential domination coming out of Rated R. But here come the rest of OB Alliance now off the spawn. They need to win these gunfights, but they're being shot from 15 different directions now, it seems. Rated R setting up quite nicely, but OB Alliance have kept themselves in it. It's only a 70-point deficit. So this is doable for them, but not quite a mountain to climb. Maybe just a small hill.
Yep. Hiking poles perhaps needed, but we'll see what TJ can do. Not much. He's dead. Let's see what Breaker can do instead. Looks like he's going to be able to get this kill. Good Lance of Fire coming in as well. Breaker gets that meat shield up. Slazen in front of him. Going to drop the meat shield. Gets a nice big chunk there on Slazen and drops him too. This is a nice push actually from OB.
The win condition will not go in their favour. One will do.
This is difficult though now.
For Rated R. But the numbers are with OB Alliance. The push comes through the middle, I'd imagine. Control for Ashens up top bridge is important as well, so they don't get overextended on. But here we go. OB Alliance trying to get it done in the final few seconds here. The domination ticket on through. Rated R will get there. Where are the rest of OB to try and do this one? J-Rage just maybe in the wrong direction. Saki now sent to the respawn queue by Slazen as well. Breaker Can he produce the magic that is needed? No, he cannot. He as well. Sense of the shadow round by Rated R. Now 25 seconds away. Still time here. If you are obeying lines, but TJ, he's out of lives. Only round number 2. It's a 4v5 momentarily, but look at the respawns on the side of Rated R as well. These lot have been flying at each other. Ultimately, though, it is going to be a Rated R win. The elimination does come through after an inevitable victory was about to tick on through. But wow, 2 very long rounds here, Fruit.
Yep, and we got a lot of people on 0 lives.
Oh, yes. The way we like it.
Yep, that's exactly how it plays out here.
Complete risk.
TJ down at 1. Who else have we got on the other side? Slazin, Strikers. If you'd have given me 3 names, I'd have probably said 2 of those. That's for sure.
Who would you have said?
I would have said Slazin and Strikers. I would have, on the other side of things, probably would have said J-Rage, maybe Saki, but yeah, even still.
Yeah, TJ not having the best of games. We have highlighted it before this season. 6 and 6 out of him.
I'm not sure why either, though, because that's the thing I'm kind of curious. Like, I look at Breaker, and I kind of see, okay, you're sat at the home side, you're kind of on your own, you're on an island.
Consistently just doing all right, isn't he? Like, Breaker,
but
not pulling up any trees.
TJ's involved in the fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, you can see him right now. He's down at this opening fight in the initial. It's a good kill by Breaker there to keep TJ alive. Now, Payne's going to push up. Gets taken down. In the end, TJ finds himself a kill, but honestly, that was all Breaker coming in, timing that perfectly.
Segued nicely from your point, really, didn't it? You know, TJ is the one in the fights not getting anything done, but then Breaker is the one at 11 and 4, bringing up the rear, reviving his teammates. The inspirational leader of Obey Alliance, trying to get something done for his team and being out in their control. The win condition will pop up for them very, very shortly, but Rated R still plenty to play with in this round. Vince got the back on down. That shot grenade comes through from Breaker, doesn't find a lot. He's been peppered up here somehow. He's still alive.
I'm not quite sure.
On the edge there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that was the best shot grenade placement. I'd have probably thrown it down that middle chute. Then at least you can loop round and they can't push down on you as you try and take the C hill.
But they haven't been able to get in. No,
doesn't matter.
Just sat on the hill. Rated R, like, right, okay, let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. No, too late. OB Alliance, yeah, well, come and get some 3 of them inside the hill, and suddenly they've won the round. That was a weird one.
Very weird. J-Rage still doing fantastically. 19 and 3 now.
Ashens and TJ sent to the bottom, but crucially for TJ, didn't lose any lives in that one.
Yep.
Got a few kills under his belt as well, so not finding themselves in too much of a dangerous position heading into round number 4.
And, you know, all things considered, Obey are outslaying Rated R right now, which is not a sentence I would have expected to say. At least not.
Just it's
today.
close. Oh, hello.
It is kind of close, but let's have a look at what's on the map.
Well,
M-Bar at one side.
so that's Obey Alliance.
Drop shot. I wonder if they're going to pick the M-Bar up or not today. We'll see.
Oh, well, we know what happened when they did last week. They ended up doing all right. But Obey Alliance are the ones that did put the drop shot down in the middle. So I'd expect we'll see everyone in their granny over towards this. But the thing is, for Rated R, they had the second pick, and they can put an M-Bar down to try and help them fight for this one. Here come the flashes. Paynes is now down. That was actually a shot grenade coming over. J-Rage can't get the peak. Is going to down him once again. Here comes the flank as well from TJ. We said he needs to be more influential for his team, and that might just be the perfect influence that they do need. TJ finds another onto Dragons, and he's somebody... I mean, don't use it, J-Rage. Just don't use it.
Get your pistol out there.
Get your pistol out and help your team out. Ashens is going to clean up too. Obey Alliance with a perfect break. However, don't have anything to the name points-wise yet.
No, that's it, isn't it? They put everyone down towards that drop shot, and now Saki going to have to fight for this B hill. Slazin's here.
Oh,
good drop
dead.
shot coming in. He's dead. Saki trying to get the cap in once again. 3 members of Rated R now on the hills above him, but that's another good drop shot from J-Rage. But quite honestly, is it needed? What have they gained from it? Nothing really just yet.
They've got control, but then they need to hold it, don't they?
Yeah.
You would have liked to maybe seen that be needed to be used when it's needed, rather than just to maybe accelerate what you're already probably going to do.
Yeah, I mean, you already had captured the B. J-Rage would have had to fight that 1v anyway. Marsh is already back off spawn, so...
Would you love to have it now?
Yeah, 100%, right? Like, it's definitely...
3 of them pushing through
I'd like to have kept it until this next weapon was up 60 seconds from now.
Maybe J-Rage is just feeling himself. What was he, 24 and 6
triple
there?
kill material right there.
Yeah, it was.
But
it's about those opportune moments. Now J-Rage is going to have to back on down. I mean, I don't even want to say we're being hypercritical. I think it was, you know, maybe a little bit over the top. Didn't necessarily need to use it there, but this one win condition pops up for Rated R. And after all those initials were won by Obey Alliance, they don't really have a lot to show for it. Apart from Saki and TJ drop to the respawn queue, Ashens is going to catch Strikers with his pants down though as he pushes on forward. Slazin, maybe the next victim on the list. Being peppered up from top bridge here as well, though. Ashen's going to get
Fantastic
dropped.
fire.
J-Rage is there. Suddenly a swarm win condition comes through via a domination. Ashen's is going to take down Slays in, though. Is anybody there to stop Rated R? Has to go. Have to go if you're Obey. TJ is going to get there just about in time. Ashen's is going to drop, but he's maybe just prolonged the inevitable here. Rated R trying to put them to the sword early on, and it just feels like Obey Alliance were the ones in control, but that's a big kill from TJ, who will find pains. And bearing in mind, TJ was on 0 respawns there. Striker sent to the respawn queue and will not be coming back either, so it is a 5v4 momentarily for Obey.
That drop shot as well should be that's a great pistol by Breaker.
Important to note, though, Rated R win off 1 cap here.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's not
okay, there's
surprised.
only 2 of them left.
There is only 2 of them left. And
Oh.
now there's one as Pains. But honestly, the more I see of Pains on this M-bar, the less I think he should be picking it up. He's not at the best of quarters on it, to be honest. And he's fantastic with his... Oh, there we go. There's the guns from Breaker. Whoa.
What was that noise you just made?
Whoa. It's a whoa noise.
Okay. We'll just
When the guns are out.
hopefully never need to hear that again.
You might do. Depends if Breaker, brings him out
even
again.
then, I'd prefer if he didn't.
I can try. Just mute me. Press the cough
It's
button.
easily done. We can just go, boop, there you go, you're gone. This is my show, not yours.
That's fine. You control the deck. I control
If
the
anything,
controller.
Matt can shut us both up if he wants to save the audience any more pain.
Hi guys, this is Matt, and we've
He's
kicked him out.
He's not that loud.
That's true.
Obey Alliance 3-1 up now. That was a good round from them in the end, and the respawn's just coming into it for Rated R. They won't have to worry about that now, of course, as the reset comes through at the halfway point. But a good start for Obey here. They're in a really good position. Can we find that, finally, find them a map, which will ultimately lead to our first map number 3 of the season?
I hope so. I really do
God.
hope so. Let's have a look on Pains' front. He's the first one in, going to get flashed. More than once here. Oh, that's a fantastic shot by Dragons. Headshot and a Kalat kills both of them. Fantastic. I hope he records that one so we can put that in the clip of the week.
He's done very well there, hasn't he? I mean, the stars have aligned, but Dragons, you got to pull the trigger at the right time, and he has done just that. And could that be the catalyst that gets Rated R back into this round? That is going to be a quick one. J-Rage is dead as well. Ashen's the only one home to try and stop this one. It's a Rated R invasion. They have just, wow. I mean, that's off the back of Dragons.
Yep.
The fact that he finds that, then that means they can get a hold of the drop shot as well. Is the reason that Rated R put that Ember down in their spawn side, and that's the reason I never want to see Pains with it ever again, because Dragons is apparently the best player on the game.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yeah. He'll be getting signed up by montage team after montage team after that one. Let's jump on board with him this time around. See if he gets the
Are they still a thing?
yeah.
I thought
Loads
it
of
was like,
people still montaging away.
well, I know people make montage, but it's that montage teams.
Yeah. DVL in Gears are probably one of the best. Morningstar Gaming as well. They're reasonably good. But yeah, some of the best montages are DVLs.
Yeah,
I'd say so at least.
put me to shame there for. I could talk about. Oh, yeah. I don't have that deep knowledge like you, mate, of the montage teams.
There's a few.
I just talk about things that matter to me. Which is the Pro League, mate.
Headshots.
Dragons.
Oh!
I thought that was another one. I thought it was another one. He's a lunatic. Where's the next one? Doesn't need to. Rated R ran through them once again over at 8. And it's the cleanup crew here. Over at ILE. Oh, that works. Doesn't work. You see, that's why I said it through bated breath. I was just a bit like, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to anyway. Here we go, though. The party continues over towards F. Are they going to get there in time? There's the drop shot coming through from Marsh, but is he going to do enough? Oh my god, he's just killing everybody. Everybody dropping down. That's 4 people dead, 3 of his own team by the looks of things, but that was at the hands of Obey Alliance, who will hold on to F somehow after all of that. Rated R through all the chips. And that one, pretty much.
Oh, it's a fantastic pistol as well.
Oh, go on, give him this.
No, he's forgot to
it's
reload.
Tough. Oh no, it's a situation you hate to see. He's like, look at these pistol shots. Look at this shotgun. Oh no.
Well, here in the European Pro League, we take the good with the bad, right? You get your doubles, and then you
me
get
and you.
and then you get this. No, forget to reload. Fantastic. Well, yep, he'll not live that one down. Not for a long time.
We'll probably forget about it in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, but I'll remind him. Don't you worry.
You should. You do that while you're in Mexico.
Yep.
Slays the Kodo. Looking like they're probably going to win this round, although it is Obey Alliance in control. They do have the lead though, and have seemingly had most of the kills going in their direction, but Obey have fought back. And one cap won't do for them though, and the pressure coming in from Rated R here. TJ dead. Once again, Dragon's not missing with the Ember. No, the Pains is really tagged up here. He's going to be able to get the drop on J-Rage, but nobody else here. Marsh is being dropped there by the shot grenade coming through. So Obey holding on to F. What's going on at E though? It's a 1v1 to try and decide what's going to happen. Saki goes down though.
8 seconds on that drop.
Here comes the reinforcements, and as said, that drop shot coming back up. Oh my god, here comes everybody from Obey Alliance. Is there anybody here from Rated R? It's just Dragons. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. He's going to find one. Ashens will drop him though. Obey Alliance will get a hold of the drop shot. Rated R have the lead, but the win condition lies with Obey.
It does.
Yep, stay away from the drop shot, boys. Going towards F.
There should be a quick decap here, actually.
Have to be careful, though.
Well, no. Breaker comes flying at the camera.
Have to be careful. They know that drop shot is in play. The shot grenade's going to go up there as well. Strikers is going to drop himself. Somehow, though, Rated R are actually getting control of E, so they've sent somebody back. Obey Alliance seem to be putting all their eggs in the baskets that their team of going to cause them. I don't know where I'm going with the baskets thing again once again, but either way, it is D and E completely in the control of nobody by the looks of things. D is in the hands of Rated R. The elimination potentially going to come through, but Swarm win condition now up. COG team win condition now up. This is being hard to follow. My head's gone.
Yep. Dragons, he's about to lose this as well.
Oh, he needs to do something.
He's baited enough time out of Obey there, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to get across the other map to help us out, so...
My brain just disintegrated for a second
stops,
there.
it?
It did, yeah. 4-2. Obey.
Hey, 1 round away now from seeing that map 3.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. Maybe my head's just like, what's going on? Obey are going to win a map.
Hey, now you've cursed him. Now you've cursed him.
Well, yeah, I was going to say they maybe want to get rid of the Ember.
Yep,
that's
no surprise. Problem is now, if you're Rated R, what do? You lock out the shot grenade.
Makes sense.
Yep. You're not going to get anything on the map that can help you as much as blocking out the shot grenade just this round specifically. So, may as well block it out and then start building up once your Ember's back on.
Now they do have one more flash grenade to play with. If you are Rated R here, that's going to give them the slight edge, if you like, over towards this drop shot. But J-Rage, if he can continue playing how he has been, then maybe we can find something. But Breaker takes down his own teammate, and it looks like Rated R are going to win this initial gunfight. TJ's going to drop there as well, not able to keep his head down. So E and the drop shot are going to go over towards Rated R, who needs 3 rounds in a row here to prevent a map number 3. Prevent Obey Alliance from winning their only map of the Gears Pro League here in Europe. Look at that coordinated jump over. Look at this. Obey Alliance surging towards F. Got to be careful, though. That drop shot has range on it. Smoke coming through. There it is. Flying in. Not finding anything. Ashens and Saki, though, in a bad spot. Saki cleaned up. Obey Alliance continuing this push over towards F. Need to find something in this round. Rated R in a good position to hold this one. I think still only one of the drop shots is being used. Breaker trying to push on through, trying to get control of the stairs. But ultimately, as time ticks on, F ticks over towards Obey. Not quite able to find it. The decap comes through, but Rated R still fighting with their backs against the wall here a little bit. A lot of good aggression coming out of Obey.
Yep, definitely so. Slazin trying to find a way up, just guarded off though from the top there. Now the push has come around the other side. It's Dragon's going to go in. Slazin's going to follow and gets 1, gets 2. Looking for the 3rd as well. Bounce round. Revive's going to come through, but it is Ashens now trying to clean things up. Oh, isn't able to. Strikers, yeah, gets a fantastic kill on Ashens there. Saves his teammate as well. We're going to go over to the other side.
They've lost a gunfight over towards E, so if he doesn't win that fight, that's a domination. That's a map for Obey. It may well still be a map for Obey. Push is coming in now. 3 members of it. Rated up. Pushing over towards E. Saki, though, going to find the first after some great Lancer fire. Going to cut him down. He is now put in trouble, but his teammate is there. TJ to save him. Strikers and Co, though, staying alive themselves. The pressure is still here, but it's allowed time for Obey Alliance to rotate some men round and try and get a good hold on E. It's contested at the moment. Rated R winning the gunfights up top, though. TJ and J-Rage dropping down. Is it going to be enough to clean them up? J-Rage will find Marsh, though, after he is picked back up. If you're Rated R, you need to go soon. COG team win condition of 30 seconds. This could be Obey's first map of the Pro League. It would be a good time to start turning up. A week before Mexico. J-Rage is going to get dropped. The fight's going in Rated R's favor. 22 seconds. They need to go now. Obey are doing a great job of just keeping a hold of this one. There's the drop shot. You're going to kill Breaker, but he's already done the damage on the Pains. You need to go if you're Rated R. Through, I think it's happening.
It might be happening. 8 seconds now. Obey looking to lock it in. Their first map of the European Winter Quarter Pro League. Is it going to be locked in? 1 second will take it. Obey are finally going to get themselves a map, and we're going to go to a map 3.
Oh my god. Pinch me through. Don't really, I'll slap you. Obey Alliance.
There we go. J Rage as well.
They've won a bloody map.
For all the stick we've given him over the weeks, he's coming out and had a fantastic performance.
He's playing really well. Has to be said, 38 and 10 out of him is a big, big reason as to why we're going to map number 3. Good lord. This hasn't happened very often. What do I do now? Do I go to a break? I don't know.
I don't think so. Not yet.
I don't know they're on a show at this point. I haven't had to do any of this for about 8 weeks.
I think we talk about training grounds. We talk about Vaskar, because that's what's coming up next.
Okay. Thanks.
Just helping you out.
What are we thinking now? Because...
Well...
I mean, ultimately, I haven't really had to worry about Obey Alliance winning anything, so I haven't to worry about their third match at all. So what do we do now? What do we discuss? Are they going to win it? Are they playing well? Are Rated R playing badly? These are the questions through.
That's a lot of questions. I think we go back. I think we go back to the fourth quarter and we look at how these teams matched up way back when. Because Vaskar was a map we saw these two teams.
How much can you point in that direction now?
You could point a little bit in that direction. A little bit. I think in terms of map 3s, we have seen Obey come through, have been very, very good on Vaskar, and have beaten Rated R to the post on that map specifically. It's a long way back. It's a bit of a reach, quite honestly. Map 3s in general just haven't happened, so we're kind of throwing everything up in the air here and seeing where it lands. But
what do we
fantastic for Obey.
What's your feeling? That's probably the best thing to go off.
My feeling is Rated R are going to come back and take this.
I think...
That's my feeling.
From what I seen from Obey last week, when they played Regal on this map, I didn't like it.
No.
I didn't like it from... It felt like they were winning the gunfights as they were there, but then they weren't doing anything with it. Whereas there on training grounds, they were turning it into something. They were holding on where they needed to. They were being resilient there, if anything, against Rated R. There was times where it felt like the fight was leaning there. They would just get one revive or one pick up there, and suddenly the fight is back in the favour of themselves. And yes, okay, they're maybe not winning the fights, but neither were Rated R. That was the thing. It was just sort of going backwards and forwards, but when you're in the controlling position, that's fine. That's great. You can elongate these rounds out as long as you need to. As long as you're in the winning position, you're doing fine. So, Obey there. Honestly, had a pretty good game. J-Rage is playing really, really well, which is a factor.
It's really good to see, actually.
For Rated R, though, when they were winning rounds, there's only off the back of some really good players out like Dragons and Co., where they would find like multiple kills with the power weapons. That was the only time they were actually getting rounds there.
Yeah,
it's a weird one.
They were finding it actually quite difficult against Obey to secure those power weapons in the start. They were only getting those double kills because Dragons was getting a free Embar off spawn. So blocking that out from Obey made a lot of sense. Like that was you know, definitely the best play they could have made at that point.
100%.
But yeah, Marsh did well with the drop shot, but didn't get his hands on it too much. Obey were doing well to control that fight. Yeah. J-Rage was getting down and sticky with it right at the end of the U there, and despite the flashbangs, despite getting shot at by 3 or 4 people, was always trying to trade out or at least opening up that fight for his team to come in and clean up. It's good to see, and that's what you want Jay to be doing, to be honest with you. He's a good scrappy player, and when he gets into those fights with the likes of Dragon, Slazin, he can fight with them, he can bang with them. He's just not had the opportunity so far, I don't think.
Yeah.
But now, week 6, has done, finally found himself a hell of a lot of kills.
Yeah, he's done really well
and,
there.
A map as well.
Yeah, and if Obey win this, who knows? MVP Obey. We've seen everybody else get one at this. True. Have we actually?
No, we haven't seen Regal.
Well,
we've seen Ashens get one, I think.
Oh, okay, well, just completely ignore everything I just said. I'm the one that picks them as well. Yep. Crazy. It should be you, really, in fairness.
Oh, well, maybe next season we can change things up.
Maybe we'll change that up a little bit. Any MVP queries from now on, point them in Fru's direction. Either way, though, we're going to map number 3. Obey get their first map on the board. Is this the start of the resurgence? Are they now going to win Mexico?
It's a big question. It's a big question.
It's a big one.
I don't think so.
It's one I know the answer to is no. But
yeah.
At the same time, I think, as we said, like if you're going to wait until now, then I'm all right with it because, yeah, okay, you've not looked great through any of the Pro League, but start turning up towards Mexico. You have a better placement than one of your fellow European teams. Hey. Doesn't matter how you played in the last 6 weeks.
Yep.
If you go and outplace them all, then suddenly you're in a position where, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers of what you get in terms of play. Is it like 4?
It's a lot. Because it took Regal from like 6 to 11 or something. It was like something like that.
So it's like 4, 5, or 6 points that you get for finishing the highest.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to say they are, but they start playing better. Sometimes they find some confidence in themselves. They might surprise some people. Who knows? But we are going to be loading at the map number 3 in a second. Maybe I am being a little bit over the top, but it's still very nice to see that they are starting to perform a little bit more how we expected. now.
Yeah.
You know, we're a week out.
Yeah,
It's a good time to start performing.
Yeah, this is the Obey that we expected to come into the Pro League, right? And be fighting with the likes of Regal specifically, Rated R definitely.
I mean, you know, you look at Rated R and Co. and they all made changes. Everyone made changes apart from Elevate. However, Obey, maybe they're just taking some time to get used to these changes. Ashens and JRH are arguably the two best players now. I mean, they're the ones that are doing well. Maybe that's one of the reasons that TJ isn't necessarily performing, because now, I don't want to say he was picking up the slack last season, but maybe he's not the first one to the fight all the time now, as he was last season. And JRH and Ashens, yes, okay. I think TJ will be absolutely fine with not being the star guy as long as his team are winning games.
Yeah,
I think 100%. That's not a problem whatsoever.
No, that's what you want as a player. If your teammates are dropping 40 kills,
if your teammates are great, who cares how I'm doing? That's fine.
As long as you're winning them, that's the difference, right? If you're losing the maps, then they're still stepping up to be done. But if you're winning them, go for it. On the other side of things, Rated R didn't pick District, pick Training Grounds over the top of it. Potential mistake? Maybe
for them, Asylum is not a map you would usually see Obey allowed to play. And if you are Rated R, maybe you want to play that to try and get some more reps on it. I think they only played it once this season so far. Going over towards Vasgar isn't a map we typically, have seen them play at all. So maybe it is just getting reps under your belt.
Yeah.
In terms of where you think you are, in terms of your map pool, etc. I can see we are loading it in the game in just a second as well, so we will be getting this one started. And we do have, of course, Riga Reserve going up against Elevate after this one.
That's true.
I expect that to be pretty quick. However, this one has went all the way to a map number 3. Would you know it? European Pro League, map number 3 never seems to happen. But Vasgar is what we're going over to between Obey Alliance and Rated R here. 1 apiece. And honestly, Asylum was pretty good from Obey as well. A couple of big players from Rated R won them that one.
Sure.
But Obey Alliance pretty comfortable on Training Grounds in the end. The only rounds that Rated R looked likely in were the ones where they were getting hold of the power weapons early on and doing damage with those. And some big kills out of Dragons is what found themselves even within touching distance. That one could have been over pretty... That could have been 5-0.
Yeah.
In all fairness.
100% it could have been. That's weird to say, isn't it?
Well,
here's the stats.
Here we go into Vasgar. Rated R played it once, won it once. Obey Alliance played it twice, haven't won it once. So, realistically, if you're Rated R, you're feeling confident. I said we haven't seen them much on this one, but when we did, they won it 5-0. So can they do that again? And can they put Obey Alliance back down? Or can Obey find that first series win? Never mind that first map win.
This is it. It's all on the line now for Obey, especially with their history on Vasgar. They definitely have the possibility to do so.
It's a big flash in towards the back end of the tank, but answered in kind by a 1 from Rated R. Push was coming in for Obey, but they have been punished. And it is going to be Marsh to pick up 2. Slayers and finds Saki. Breaker's now being dropped as well. That's everybody pretty much dead from Obey, apart from JRH. Now he's been playing well. Has he been playing well enough to basically 1v5 this one? The respawn's coming up very, very shortly. TJ is there to try and help, as is Ashens. Push up towards C is just in time. If you are Rated R, get shots by Slayerson, but now he's out of the fight. Has to rotate back around. Strikers is going to find TJ. They're not going to be able to clean this one up as quickly as they would have liked here. Rated R, but they may just clean it up anyway. It's a flurry of kills coming in from them. And if you're JRH, you're nowhere near. In that case, 1-0 from Rated R. More like it from them.
Yep.
That first round that they always seem to win, isn't it?
It is always that. And it was such a solid opening fight at the tank as well from Rated R. They looked like they were getting pushed, but a very clutch flashbang comes over the top and really does open up that fight. They rotated back around as well to help defend. That's exactly what you want. And now we'll look at the placements, because usually this map's pretty even, but depending on where you place the weapons, it can be a little bit of a longer trek to go fetch it for you, whether you're on which side or not. Did not explain that well at all.
I know what you meant.
Sorry for any viewers. What I meant is there are routes that are longer. It's basically what I meant.
Yeah. I get you. And on certain sides, it's a bit of a longer route to get a hold of your home spawn side weapons. Yes.
That's the one. That's what we...
Where's Toby?
That's what we've...
Where's Elliot?
I don't know about Elliot, to be honest with you.
Where is Elliot?
I don't know.
Where's your glasses?
I don't know that either.
The running joke here, by the way, if nobody knows it, what was it, the very first week of Pro League?
Yeah,
it's
very about
first
half
week.
A year ago.
Yeah, we're talking about 6 months ago here as this game continues. Elliot and Froome had a night out on the town. Few tinnies.
Just a few.
Few looseners. And he threw Lefty's glasses when he stayed around at Elliott's, and then suddenly he's never got them back. It's been 6 months
Well, it
now.
wasn't that. It was because they said they were going to get posted the week after.
Well, they definitely
I
haven't.
don't know what post service he's using, but rubbish, I tell you.
Let's not put anybody under the
No,
blast
no.
here on the official Gears Esports Pro League.
Definitely not.
Oh, we'll have the coalition be contacted by various companies. Your caster said we're not very good. Not our fault he hasn't sent the glasses. Now maybe I'm just constructing my own lie here, but anyway, Slays and the coach trying to push over towards B. It seems as if they are actually winning the fight somehow. Obey are there in numbers though. Ashen's basically shot through his legs there. Strikers is able to get away, but waiting for the rest of his team to back him on up. B not quite captured by Rated R, but Strikers, last one alive. Can he do anything against Ashens? Doesn't need to. Dragons is there to help out. Strikers will clean up. Looking like another Rated R round here. Marsh.
Oh, Marsh, you're so sneaky.
Oh dear.
Every map.
Well, you boys have been sent over towards C. He's basically sent you away to the Shadow Realm there. Marsh has just maneuvered around them, but thankfully for Obey, they have actually managed to get a hold of C. Slaysden and Cole, though, doing the work over towards A, but if you are Rated R, have to be careful. You've lost C, so where they're coming from behind. Breaker trying to get it done. And it's going to find one. Not going to find much else. C still in the hands of Obey Alliance, though. Good job that one of them did manage to push on through and get a hold of that. Saki and J-Rage are left here to defend while the rest of their team will come up spawn. Should be able to get a hold of Ace, so just elongate the round and you're still in it.
Good kill there by
I tell you
Saki.
what. The kills coming in their favour. This was looking like a Rated R round. Suddenly it's looking more like Obey Alliances. Coming off spawn though is Rated R. They should be, keep a hold of C here. Marsh is the only one left though. Obey are going to be able to get a hold of C. Nicely done.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, for all the, we said, oh, there's no jazz from Obey. That was the jazz from Rated R, right? They always find their little way through to just throw a little bit misdirection, I guess. But it doesn't matter when you're getting slayed out upon. Obey, they just opened up and started shooting. But in return now, Rated R, they're looking to get a couple of kills of their own. Breaker's going to fall, as is Ashens.
I don't think a one cap is enough yet. Well,
no.
It's not all they have, though.
I've got to see, is anyone going to be?
I don't know if anybody has. It looks as if you're Obey Alliance that you just want to rotate around and try and keep a hold of your home hill. Can't do that if it's only J-Rage fighting for it. He's not, I mean, I don't know how he's managing to even survive as long as he has. As he goes down, the rest of the team, none of the races, they just need to hold one of them. Nobody near for Obey. 2-0 for Rated R there. That one was backwards and forwards. Obey Alliance looked a couple of times as if they were going to win that one, but Rated R probably deserve it in the end, I would say.
Yeah. And that's the playmaking from Rated R. Even though, in theory that should have been a 1v2, for Marsh. Just a little bit of secrecy, right? A little bit of hiding, and it's just opened up the whole map for him. And it's that's the kind of basic level of trickery, but teams can use that to their advantage, and just concocting plays like that is exactly what we were talking about prior when we were trying to say, how do Obey really play? At the moment, they're actually playing quite aggressive, but in general, they play quite defensive and don't have much of that. Let's have a look at TJ now. He's going to be the first one into tank.
Well, can he do something here? Because this fight has been mostly won by Rated R in the beginning of these rounds. Here come the grenades. That's a shot going over towards the other side of the tank, so if you're Rated R, you have to make the push. But there, in turn, comes the shot grenade out of Rated R. Ashens is going to get dropped. Ashens is going to get cleaned up by Marsh. So momentarily, the fight in Rated R's favour. Obey, though, happy to sit back. Plenty of time remaining in this round. Don't want to overcommit to something, but here we go. Speaking of commit, Rated R flying forward as they so often do, but have they flown into a trap here? Or can they keep on going? Dragons is going to find one, is going to find two. Line them up. Give him the third as well, potentially. Is going to go down, though. Is J-Rage that going to be able to spoil the party? Is going to get picked up. Is going to get taken down. Strikers for his troubles. Eventually, Dragons finds the third. One goes down. One gets back up. One goes to the respawn queue. One continues on. And that will eventually be B over towards Rated R.
Yep. Scoreline's still pretty even, but Rated R will start to pull away if Obey can't do anything about this one. Great shots there by Ashens, getting the two downs there on Dragons and Paints. They're both going to fall. His team should be able to decap B as he pushes on forward now, just trying to Get a little bit of real estate for his double kill. He's going to come back. Locks in that B hill, and now Obey will start to claw back some points.
Bear in mind, Rated R have to be a little bit more careful with their lives. Slazen and Pains on 0. And
here is Slazen.
Yeah, you got this round and one more to play as well.
It's quite far up as well to say he's on that 0 lives.
Well, maybe he's like, it's last week, let's just be aggressive, play our game. You need to win the gunfights here against an Obey team that have struggled. We can see Slazen is backing on down, but everybody dropping here. Slazen and Pains are the ones you need to keep an eye on. Neither of those have went down, thankfully. If you're Rated R fan, here comes the push. Slazen has to go now. Shots going in, but Obey just sitting back, soaking up that pressure and putting down the damage where they need to. Slazen has been dropped, as has Marsh. Slazen is out of this round. It is now a 4v5. Pains has gone to mid, that a 3v5. This should be 2-1 to Rated R now. Obey Alliance should surely come back in this round.
They should do. Assuming they can just get a hold of these last couple of kills. Strikers is going to fall. We do see, who's that jumping off the respawn? It's Marsh, but he ain't going to be able to do much about this, surely not. Here he goes, 1-2, looks for the third. Breaker's going to shut him down in the end.
Yeah.
The elimination will come through. There's the no-no, there's the spin. And it is going to be a 1 round here for Obey Alliance.
Oh, and the elongated one, that one, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah,
eventually getting it on the board if you are Obey. If you're Rated R, and there's a couple of people with only 1 respawn left here, so Obey Alliance definitely with the advantage. Can they tie this one up, or will Rated R continue what they've been doing, which is flying at people as per usual? Oh, and bar down for Rated R.
Yeah, that's good to see, isn't it? If you're Rated R, let's see who picks this up. If it's not Dragons, I'd be very, very surprised. He's going to look to go get it. Yep, it is Dragons indeed, picking up that M-bar shot. 3 shots in it this time around. Being a home hill weapon, just has a few less bullets in it. And now looking towards tank. No one can really move now. It's going to be a very difficult push for Obey just to run through past this M-bar. And likewise, for anyone in the supporting positions who are going to try and Lancer down, very easy pickings as well for Dragon to get a headshot there.
Just waiting for somebody to make the first move yet. If you're Obey, you're the ones with more respawns. Do you try and pressure, or do you wait for them to come, knowing that they have to value their lives maybe a little bit more, but flashes and such coming out? Nothing found. Bit of a stalemate here, Fruit.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I kind of feel if you're either one of the teams, try and send a resource round to try and influence the C and A hill fight. As soon as that goes one way or the other, that's when the map's going to start to flip and flop, right? As teams try and fight over the 2 home hills as well. This is a stalemate, and this is so difficult to push down. You see Breaker going to go in for a big flashbang there. Oh, it's a shot grenade, sorry, coming out.
Oh, here we go. Obey Alliance going to push on forward. They know those respawns are low. Marsh is the sacrificial lamb that may allow Dragons and Strikers to come on in and clean up. TJ, Saki both go down. And after waiting all that time, Rated R going to be the ones that come out on top of that fight. Of course, they did drop Marsh. He was now down to 0 respawns, so Obey Alliance will take a small slither of hope from that fight. Obey Breaker though is going to go down as well. So good fights coming out of Rated R here, trying to extend that lead once again to 2 rounds. They have hold of C, they have hold of B. But, as I said, keep an eye on Marsh. 0 respawns for him. I can imagine he's going to be playing the home hill, although quite aggressive here. Strikers has to come in and contest. Suddenly it's Obey with a potential domination coming through, considering Rated R were in prime control to win this one. J-Rage is going to continue to survive, but Strikers, after eventually dropping, is going to be avenged by Marsh, who drops him down. Rated R, we're in control of B, have lost that, but they are going to be able to just push over towards A. Who's going to win this round for? It's a weird one.
It is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? It's difficult. I mean, it's all going to really hinge around that B hill, and it looks like Rated R are the ones in control right now. But
I say that.
Yeah, Saki's just managed to find himself one. Strikers actually does get that kill in the end, so B hill will lock in.
Marsh is done as well. It's a 4v5 momentarily. The respawn's really not favouring Rated R this time around, but look at TJ, look at Breaker, look at Saki. These next couple of gunfights, very influential. If you Obey Alliance, you may be 5v4, but at this point, it doesn't mean a great deal. You lose one gunfight and suddenly it's a 4v4. You lose another and suddenly it's a 4v3. So, you have to be very, very careful, especially with this M-bar in play. Yes, okay, they have the advantage, but it is a very small one.
2 shots, perhaps the difference here between an Obey Alliance loss and win. They do have 2 Hills in their name now, though, so this will flip over. This will be a swarm victory in about 30 seconds time. Strikers just looking to find one headshot, just trying to even things up here.
Well, we're going to give him an option. Oh,
TJ, he needs to find Breaker. He's not going to find anyone. He's going to die in the end. And
he was the only one with the respawn.
Yeah, he will come out. He will come back in, sorry.
Oh, Dragons does find Saki, though.
That's Saki out now, right? So that's a 4v4 situation.
4v4 now, but the control belongs to Obey Alliance. BNC in their favor. One swarm win condition in 15 seconds.
Yep.
If you're rated R, you need to go.
If you're Obey, you just back off now. You just go, you back off.
Do it on a 1.
Is what you do.
15 seconds. And they need to push over towards B. We can see Obey are backing on down. Breaker goes down, though. It's a 4v3, but 7 seconds. You just have to defend it. We can see that all of Rated R just flying in towards B. They need to move, and they need to move now. It's not going to be quick enough. Obey Alliance, by the skin of their teeth, will hold on to a piece now.
Yep, that decap coming in from J-Rage was definitely a good play there. Just made everything so much more difficult for Rated R. No points on that home hill. They had to go and decap all the hills that Obey had control of, and in the end, just too much too late. Not enough people either.
Yeah. Well, lives have now reset, and we have moved the points. Dragons having a good game here for Rated R, as per usual.
Marks are going down.
Yeah.
Bit of a different one here.
That's from Obey as well. Flashbang going down for Rated R. No surprises there, so the only difference between these two sides is an M-bar and a mark set. I'd prefer the M-bar. I'd honestly prefer the M-bar on this one.
Yep, I agree with you. I think the M-bar is a little bit... The thing with the marks was you can kind of lose it in the crossfire, right? A lot of Lancers going down. It's kind of difficult.
You sort of don't know when it's actually doing much damage.
Yeah. And then a couple of shots later and you've lost your face. But it doesn't really matter because you've lost it anyway. Obey pushing through. TJ trying to find another one. Gets the knife off. Does manage to kill Slazins now, and Dragon's now going to have to run back all the way to spawn. Has got that M-bar in hand.
Well, you won't have much left in it either, as he did actually get a kill with it early on. Just fired off at least one more shot there.
It's perhaps empty now.
TJ is going to drop down though. Combining well of Rated R. Done here. 2 kills going in their favor. They will get a hold of F. They make and take their sights over towards E. J-Rage putting down some good damage on that mark. It may just slow them down momentarily. I'm J-Rage. Yep. I'm running for the hills. I'm just surviving. Trying to see what you can find. I don't think it's going to be very much. He will get dropped, but maybe just try to waste time. Maybe he's wasted a couple, but E ultimately does go over towards Rated R, but they are now losing F as well, so bringing around the Rosie, working in Obey Alliance's favor this time around.
Yep, Obey now. Trying to defend on this D-hill. A missed shot there by Ashens could be crucial. Striker's trying to find his way up. Gets a good spread on TJ. Gets another one as well. Isn't able to clean up the kill just yet. And there is a flank coming in from behind. Looks like it's J-Rage. He's managed to come off and find a couple of kills. 17-9 now. Fantastic score. He's going to cap the D-hill up as well. The rest of Obey, they're going to push around and try and take this F hill from Dragons.
Yeah, in a good position to do so. Dragons has to back on down. He will get out with his life. Push doesn't quite come in. That's a decent enough flash just to back Obey down. Here come the reinforcements from Rated R spawn. The shots coming in. Pains and Co doing their best. Strikers there as well. 4 members of Obey here to try and stave off this push, I should say. Marsh and Dragons, though, combining well. And they are pushing them away. Every single member of Rated R here to try and push Obey back. Every single member of Obey Alliance seems to be dropping. Breaker now in a horrible spot. He's going to find one. Can he find anything else in and around the tank? We've seen Breaker in these positions before when his back's against the wall, but he will eventually go down. Ashens is there to keep a hold of E for his team. A 1-cap will not do in this time as long as Rated R get a hold of D, which I can imagine they will. But coming up off the spawn is Obey Alliance. Yeah, not far away from D at all. Here comes the push. Dragons are going to have to back on down. They're probably going to have to focus themselves over towards E, but the fight's going in Rated R's favor. Pains is the only one to drop. Dragon slays and finds Saki. They may come off the respawn, but they'll go straight back to it. Ashen's last one there to try and do something. I mean, everyone's just killing everyone at this point. Rated R will surely go on to win this round with Breaker. Slipped the net once again.
Yep, and looking for his kill as well. Does get taken out by Strikers in the end, but he does often find his way through and pick up that cheeky little decap. Yep, he has. He's done a fantastic job there, actually, for Obey. They should be able to cap this D-hill in, and they should still be in it now. 186 to about 180 is the score line. Striker's going to try and stop Obey's push now, but he's going to run, otherwise he's going to end up being mincemeat for Obey's chopping machine. We'll see what's going on here at this E-hill.
I was going to say the only good thing is for Rated R is Dragons has got a hold of that Ember. J-Rage's head is the first target that he's found. He isn't going to find much else with that because now the Nashor is out and seemingly looking as if Breaker just prolonged the inevitable here in this round. Rated R will take this one. An elimination victory. 3-2 now.
We're only halfway through, really, aren't we? I mean, a 3-3-3, the round time. A very, very long round. A lot of fights back off that spawn, but ultimately Rated R, they do come away with it. 33-9 now, Dragon's scoreline, and that M-bar definitely helping to pad that stat a little bit.
100%.
It's always useful when you've got that power up in every single round. As we said, the marks are not really doing all that much.
Well, as you said, though, I think you're very, very right in saying that it's hard to really distinguish when it is doing a lot, but one thing that you cannot miss is how well the Talkbow is doing. A lot of weapons in play here. There was a Retro Lancer went down for Rated R as well. So they got that Ember. The Ember. Just doubly named the Ember.
Yeah, well, to be fair, the Talkbow is kind of a... I'd say it's a staple weapon at this point for
love
Obey.
the Talkbow
I do, but
more than your family.
Quite on. Well, they hate to hear it, but I spent a lot of time with this Talkbow. Honestly, Saki, he's done a lot of work with it in the past, and Rated R, I mean Obey, sorry, they do drop this Talkbow down quite regularly, and it's because they use it well. They do have a good time with it.
Oh, that's a good shot grenade over towards the left-hand side. Saki is going to have to get him back on down. One shot left in the chamber. What did I call them that week? Explodey shooty things.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he hasn't landed none of the explodey shooty arrows. That was it.
Tried to forget.
Well, I've unfortunately reminded you. Pains runs on through. Finds Saki, who found absolutely nothing with the Talkbow there. And ultimately, Rated R have found themselves in control here. Obey Alliance not getting much done. The fights have went in Rated R's favour so far. Looking to try and find themselves one round away. They're 3-2 up here, but here come Obey Alliance on the push. Good shots by TJ. Can he finish this one off? Over towards this right-hand side. I think it's actually Dragons he's fighting against. Oh, Slazen, who's already went down, or he continues, I should say. TJ is the only one left alive for Obey Alliance. Trying his best to try and find something. Is eventually going to go down, but a big gunfight win for Rated R there.
Yep, and the lives now are starting to look a bit dire here for Obey. You can see quite a lot of them on one. Whereas Slazen and the rest of Rated R, they're doing alright, to be honest with you. Dragons finds Breaker as well. Takes him down to 1 life remaining. J-Rage about to get pincered. Just get taken out. The elimination is going to tick here. It looks like Obey, they're not going to spawn back in. It's going to be series point now for Rated R.
The first not 3+ minute round that we've seen. Every single one of these has went right down to the wire. But look at that, the top. Dragons and Marsh combined there for 36 and 37 kills with only 21 deaths between them.
It's not bad at all, is it, really?
It isn't bad. You're very, very right. But the slaying game has been with Rated R this time round. It is showing in the scoreline. 4-2 now. What's going on here? Embar down.
Sniper down at the other side as well. So,
right, so an Embar and it's Talkbow now for Obey. Sniper and an Embar for Rated R.
A little bit more dangerous now. As we go into potentially the last round of this series. Dragons is going to pick up the Embar.
Let's
no
stay with him because
surprise.
he's been hitting shots.
Yep, let's keep an eye on him here.
Well, Strikers is going to pick up the long shot, I should say. There's a sniper in hand of him. What can he do with it? Embar on the other side of things, though, for Obey as well.
That's Breaker with that one. That's not someone we usually see on the power weapons, but can use them, that's for sure.
Flash going through, opens up the push. Rated R. Looking to hold on to F here. Breaker is actually going to find Pains. Looking to try and line up the shot. Saki down this left-hand side. Strikers is going to take the head of TJ, though. Dragons backs on down. Has to. Not able to do much for this Embar so far. Striker's going to find another shot, though, and another taking down Ashen's. Really good work from him. We've run with the wrong person with the power weapon here in the end, but ultimately really good play by Rated R. They find nearly everything here. Obey Alliance having to fight for something. Where is this fight going on? It's already... They have to jump on it pretty soon. Are they in a position to do so? They have just about got on. Is anybody else here, though, to help out TJ? He goes down. Just trying to hold him off. Strikers gets moving. Can he find a second? Yes, he can. Ashen's now dead. And this is looking like a Rated R win here for him.
Yep, Strikers has been a fantastic pickup for Rated R. He's been doing so much work throughout the last 6 weeks for his team now. And honestly, yeah, Rated R done very, very well to secure him as that 5th member of this team.
Now
Pushing in.
Yep, can Obey get back in this round? The points is not very good viewing, but the kill feed is. A couple going in their favour. Obey are going to lose E though while they're at it, but the push over towards F is looking good for them. However, right now, they need more than just a 2-cap. They need at least D-cap E here. The lead is insurmountable for them.
It really isn't.
120-point difference does not work out on a 2-cap.
Ashen's as well down on that 0 lives now. He's got to be so careful as they start to push in.
A flurry of kills though from Mobile Alliance. Spells around win, and that's why they have to keep getting aggressive. Slazen's going to get caught with his pants down. Dragons did drop TJ. I don't think it got cleaned up though. The shots coming in. Strikers goes down. Has anybody else from Rated R rotated though? Marsh, rocking a hard place, springs to mind. He goes down as well. He should surely be beating D-cap now. Where is Rated R? They're over towards F. I don't think it's going to be enough to catch back up though, as Pains finds 2 kills off the respawn. TJ and Saki go down. Swarm win condition comes up though, only momentarily. It's a COG team win condition as they have a hold of F.
You got to think there if you're Obey, just be careful. You've got so many people up alive. The one thing that can really put a thorn in your side is that spawn protection. Pains flying in. There's a headshot as well, just to add a bit of insult to the injury. 3 seconds now. It's all it's going to take for Rated R. They're potentially going to lock this in. Yes, they are. And that's going to be them going through. Obey sadly do lose the series, do get themselves a map, but fantastic play by Rated R in the end to lock that one out.
Rated R get it done. We predicted they would win it. Maybe not in this fashion. Obey Alliance eventually, in the final week of the Pro League, will get a map on the board, but that is it. Nothing more. A 5-2 win on training grounds is all they're going to have to shout about going into Mexico. I said though, it is against Rated R, so some confidence you feel. I mean, that's a better performance out of Obey Alliance than I would have expected, has to be said. Most of the maps were relatively close. They won the training grounds comfortably, but in the end, Vazcar comes down to a couple of little mistakes here and there. That could have been 4-3 had they walked away with that round, and suddenly it's a completely different story. But in the end, Rated R win it. Let's talk about Rated R first, though. That's the last time we're going to see them before Mexico.
That's true.
How are we feeling about them? That is not their best performance so far, but
I don't think so.
I think at the same time, maybe they're in a lower gear at this point. They're ready to go to Mexico. They know that this game doesn't really have much effect on themselves as well.
Yep.
Taking that into consideration by giving good respect over towards Obey as well, but Rated R will still be happy the fact that they're pretty much solidified in second and have solidified second place now.
Yeah, they're definitely going to go through second place here. That's a good seeding going into that Swiss bracket. And also, to be honest with them, that training grounds map we just saw, yes, they lost it, but they lost it off the back of a very, very good performance from J-Rage. Like that was honestly really the difference maker there. And the other 2 maps were very comfortably Rated R.
Yeah.
So I'm not reading too much into that for them. I think that's a good end to the Pro League for them. They've gone through. They've lost a couple of matches against Elevate, but they've basically won everything else, right? So fair play to them. I think they're in a good place going to Mexico.
I said for Obey though, that only map win in the Pro League coming today. I feel as if they will take a little bit of confidence going into Mexico from that, knowing that. And again, we want to talk about their losses. They've been very, very close. They've been whitewashed a couple of times, but a lot of teams have. We've seen Riga Reserve have as bad maps as them. We've seen Riga Reserve, though, just come on the other end of these round 9s. It's been around here and there difference between these 2 teams in the end, but ultimately Riga Reserve were the ones that won those rounds. Obey did not. If they can fix these small mistakes, they are there with Riga Reserve at least, I would say. They can maybe push for a top 16 placement and maybe surprise some teams, but we will see at the weekend coming. First up, we do have Elevate against Regal Reserve. Coming up after this very short break, don't go anywhere. We've got match number 2 coming up after this.